Welcome everybody, another episode of Become Top 1% with Axel Maaw, and today we have a special guest. His name is Mehdi Magnus. He's an expert in social, actually he's a men's social coach. He will give us some sauce when it comes to everything that is social, the game. Welcome Mehdi, what's up, how's it going?
What's up man, how are you? Long time no see, thank you for having me on.
It's a pleasure. So indeed, we actually met through the internet a while ago. So today, indeed, you are specialized in this, you're top 1%. What can you tell us that could be very interesting? Maybe some very great suggestions.
How to be social is by going out and actually being social. That's how I would put it. Most people, they want to improve their game, they want to improve their social skills, but they don't put in any reps. It's like you want to get really good at tennis, but you never get on the tennis court and hit the racket with the ball. So how do you get social is you go out, you leave your house, and then you walk up to people and you start talking. And then you do that over time, and then you build your social repertoire, you build your social awareness, you understand social cues better. And I think what's really important, a lot of guys are lacking nowadays, is building even the core confidence to initiate conversations, building things like certainty, building things like conviction in their purpose in life, who they are, their personality, their sense of humor, building things like being grounded in high stress social situations, building things like the ability to take rejection. So that's the fundamentals I think that a lot of guys avoid, and mostly just because they don't practice,
What a person should do, to become, if a person say, mostly a guy, right? A man will say, I wish to become top 1%. So every 100 guys, I wish to be that one guy that is on the top, right? They can be very social, can, attract very high quality girls. What a person should, if a person is starting from zero, what they should do slowly, what are the most important things that they should do constantly, that repetition that will bring him to be the top?
Okay, if you're starting from zero, then you want to understand what those basic, easy to understand status triggers are first. And this is, for example, you talk about this a lot, dressing better, improving your style, going to the gym, lifting, getting some muscle on you, getting in shape, building your finances, building a network. That means just having friends that go out with you. You have a network, you have this tribe of your own. These are things that it's very easy for people to understand. Okay, it's like style, fitness, money. But what people have trouble understanding is understanding that gives you a perceived status, which helps a lot. But you also have to change your status internally, meaning you have to change your mindset, and you have to start identifying as someone who's at the top percent. You have to start identifying as someone who's in the top 5 or 1%. There's a lot of guys, they'll make money and they'll get the style and they'll get in shape, but internally they still feel like a loser. Therefore, they don't actually become that guy. It's almost like a facade. So the first thing you want to do if you're just starting out is do the easy stuff. Get clothes that fit you, that are cool. Go to the gym regularly. That builds discipline as well. Even meditation, something like meditation is really hard to do. It's really hard to just sit and do it. So if that can make you all do it, you build discipline and you build these principles of inner-centeredness, awareness, whatever. And then from there, get a nice haircut.
I actually have a question for meditation part, the meditation part. What if a person really does not like meditation? How they should force it, they should avoid it, just not do it? What would be your recommendation about that?
I would say 2 things. One, the more you don't like meditation is the more you need it. Because it means your brain doesn't want to sit still. We live in a society where we can't even focus. We have no attention span. And we're just I don't know if I can say this word, we're fucking attention retards. We can't focus on anything for long. And we're easily distracted by TikTok. And meditation makes you sit down and there's no stimulus, there's no distractions. You're forced to just focus on nothing for 10, 20 minutes. And then you kind of bring the awareness within yourself to your energy, thoughts, feelings, past trauma, whatever thing that happened yesterday. And you're forced to look at those things. You're forced to be aware. Okay, what does this mean? How is this helping me? How is this not helping me? And doing that every day, it really gives you an advantage over other people, because most people lack that ability to just sit. Even if you don't go that deep into it, literally just sit for 10 minutes and prove to your brain that you're in charge of your brain rather than your brain's in charge of you. That gives you a massive advantage because you build activity. You're not, like we said, like a retard being distracted by everything, getting sucked into your phone easily. And even if you do get sucked into TikTok, it's like that meditation almost cancels it out in a sense. But what it does, it just builds basic self-esteem. It builds basic, I care about myself. I respect myself enough to sit down and actually, it's like eating healthy. That also builds self-esteem, not to mention improve your health. It's like just doing it is an act of respect to yourself. And that's what changes your inner status, not just your external status. You know?
So the steps to start for a beginner, right? Like he never did it, so it's the first time he hears this and say like, okay, maybe it's a while that I'm hearing whatever, but I just want to start. What would be the first step?
Meditation?
Yes, meditation.
You want to start with something small in the beginning. If you want to do something big, pick 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just sit down. You can sit down on a normal chair. I have a little meditation pillow. I sit down in the lotus position, and what I do is, rather than being mentally focused, I bring the focus up to the bottom of my spine, or kind of the bottom part of my body, because usually we're up here. I want to bring the energy down, and I breathe. It's as simple as breathing, and then just getting really present with that breathing, like kind of like you're listening to music. You're really present with music. It's like, and as you inhale, you're present with that. As you exhale, you're present with that. At first, it might feel a bit forced, and then it gets more and more relaxed. And the more you do that, the more you realize like the energy kind of, you don't think as much. And when you do think, you're just kind of aware of it. You're not so sucked into it. And then you bring the energy down to your body, and that's when you start picking up a bit more of data of what's going on in your body. And like I said, you could just start by focusing on breathing. Do that for 10 minutes, and then from there it'll evolve. Your understanding of meditation will kind of deepen over time, and as you see the benefits, you'll want to do it. You'll be excited to do it. I mean, to this day, even I'm not excited to do it. I'm like, fuck, I have shit to do. I have to sit down for 20 minutes.
Maybe 10 minutes I have to be there, stand still. You were talking about maybe a guy, he's a little bit stifled there, blocked, have this girl in front of him, and he's trying to think about all the things that he learned online on YouTube or whatever. So how are we maybe invaded with too much information, bombarded with too much information? So is this a problem, in your opinion? Are we doing something wrong? Is too much?
Man, that topic is like a really deep rabbit hole of why that happens. But yeah, for a lot of guys, especially today, that's their experience when they go out. You could blame it on lockdown, you could blame it on the generation, you could blame it on TikTok, the internet, you could blame it on just the programming, the fucking feminine programming we're getting.
The red pill, the blue pill.
But at the end of the day, I think what it really comes from is just your experiences as a kid, as a child, like upbringing, like childhood trauma, like negative experiences you've had with women in the past. Let's say like, I gotta do more research into this, but there's this idea of like the animus or something like that, the anima, and it's pretty much the compilation of all of your experiences with women your entire life. So you're born, you grow up, people around you, your teachers, your mom, your sisters, the girls that rejected you in 3rd grade, whatever. It's like you have all these experiences in your mind. That gives you a certain perception of women, and then when you're in that interaction talking to them, it's like if you have a negative anima, if you have a negative experience of women, perception of women, you will be flooded with fear, anxiety, insecurity, uncertainty, rather than just being comfortable and connecting. So yeah, the topic of where that comes from, we could go on forever about.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, pretty much like everything.
In my coaching, we talk about like how to use meditation to combat that, how to understand what that negative trauma that's holding you back is, how to let it go, how to process it, how to heal it. But I also don't like to focus on that too much.
Yeah.
I'd rather focus more on just like go take action and understand that if you take action in a certain way and you change your mindset, you change your perception of these things, your entire experience talking to women can change. So you're either in control or you're reacting. And most guys, they go into these interactions and you're just like reacting to the girl, reacting to the environment, reacting to themselves and how they feel. And you want to get to a point where you're in control. You want to get to a point where you're proactive. And it's almost like you're not reacting to other people anymore. You're just kind of doing your own thing. You're in your own little universe type thing. And that's when all of that shit goes away and you just start having fun and you start being like really attractive. And that's what game is, you learn game. It's like becoming a magnet and getting people to chase you rather than you chasing other people and worrying about anxiety or whatever,
Another thing that I'm very, very curious, to see that from your opinion as an expert socializing, how different or how easy or similar is the online dating type of approach? So the socializing live, go to a bar or something, maybe in a park, at the beach, whatever, or online, with any dating app or even socials, any Instagram and whatever?
I mean, it's very different. So in person, what you're going to do is you're going to go out, you're going to take action, you're going to get into a flow state, you're going to be challenged with whatever, maybe rejection or just how to solve a certain problem, how to pull, whatever, all these things. And it's going to teach you a lot. It's kind of like sales. You learn actual skills out of it. But you also you get judged based off of your vibe. You get judged based off of how you look in that moment, based off how you dress, based off of your energy, based off how your tonality is, how you approach. Are you fun? Are you not fun?
Yeah.
Are you edgy? Do you have that masculine polarity or not? There's so many factors that go into it, to the point that I really only like doing in person because I'm good at it. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But online,
I relate with you.
Business. It's like a funnel. You use it.
Very true, right?
It creates a system. It creates a funnel where you get more leads. So not just like Tinder or Bumble, but I'm talking like Instagram, for example. Like you have to learn how to use these tools because they just give you more options, and they give you can create a system that works better than just going out in person. So these things in person, online, they go together, and you want to learn how to use them together because they create one system if you know how to do it. But if you're just going off of Tinder or Bumble or Instagram and you're not going out in person, and it's entirely dependent on how you look, how you dress, and like superficial things, pretty much. Like, are you good looking? Are you tall? And do you have good photos? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much is the profile that does that.
Text, but usually it comes down to just how you look.
Yeah, it's more about the profile, right? If you, I mean, 80% of the job for sure is the profile doing the heavy lifting for you. If your profile is a kick-ass profile, there's, I mean, no wonder the girl will go out even if you say simple things like, hey, hi, what's up, how's it going? Are you free on Saturday? Yes, I'm coming out with you. Because if the guy, I mean, is, you know, I'm not even saying like jacked and whatever, but has all the things that you were saying also before, you know, body, financially, lifestyle, and I mean, he looks like someone that somehow is complete, then definitely the profile is doing most of the job.
The way I like to teach it is like you want to do both. So you want to be able to go out there into the world and meet people, because you're going to meet different qualities of people in person versus online. Online, all you have to go by is their looks, whereas in person, you can actually get a sample of their personality. In person, you can see whether they're actually girlfriend quality or not, or just going to be like a casual thing. You get a lot more data in person, but what you want to do is go out in person, meet people, and kind of bring those people that you meet into the online funnel. So you add them to your Instagram, and then from there, rather than texting them one-on-one, trying to use text game and then being like, hey, let's go on a date. No, you just add them to your Instagram. If you have a good Instagram, they're going to be engaged automatically. If you post good stories, they're going to be engaged automatically. Yeah. And rather than you having to reach out to them, which you can do, and set up a one-on-one date, they usually will reach out to you, or they'll react to your story, or they'll message you first because you have such a good brand online. So that changes the whole dynamic. So rather than you chasing them, they chase you, in a sense. And then from there, you could either, go on a one-on-one date, which is fine, or you could invite them to an event. You can invite them to, you're out with your friends and you're going anyways, and then they just come through. And that's a way better frame to come from, rather than like, let's go for a coffee date, which I still do, but it's not my go-to necessarily. It's not the best frame to operate from.
What about discipline, you know, habits, these kind of tools that we need, these kind of strategies that we need really to become like a top person, a top achiever? You know, everything is about success and efficiency. What are some of the recommendations, maybe some secrets or tips that you personally use to achieve amazing results?
So that sounds corny, but it's really just like the clarity of your vision for your life. Do you have a strong purpose or not? Do you have a strong reality or not? That's really important when it comes to social skills as well in dating. It's like you have to know where you're going. You have to know your future. You have to know your goals. You have to know what you want to achieve. And the way I view it is like you're either reacting to life or you're creating your life, or you're affecting life. You're either being affected by life, you're affecting life. You want to be affecting life. So if you want to be in the top 1%, all the people in the top 1% for the most part that are very successful, they have a plan, they have a goal, they have a schedule. They wake up, they do their shit, they hit the gym. They're like, all right, today I'm going to have this call with Axel, and then after that I'm going to the gym, and then after that I have this. And like, there's a fucking plan. And a lot of guys don't have that. A lot of guys are just kind of derping. They go to their 9 to 5, they come back, they smoke weed, they watch Netflix, and they're just like reacting to life. So what you want to do is you got to have a very strong vision or purpose. And I think that's something that you build. Like, you have to build that through trials and tribulations when it comes to game, through going out and actually approaching girls, building that fucking resilience to do that, building that strong frame, being able to take rejection, understanding. So like, oh, this is a journey you go through, and you become that one person type of person in your mind, and then that manifests into the world. But also, you want to do things in the world that also kind of change your mindset as well. It's like not just one or the other. But I would just say, like, strong vision, strong purpose, have a plan, have a goal, find a network, and then every day wake up and know what the fuck you're doing, rather than, oh, you know, I'm a little tired today, I'm not going to the gym, I'm just gonna scroll on TikTok for an hour. I mean, I do that sometimes.
Guilty, all right?
I scroll on TikTok sometimes, but
can be very, very addictive. That's why I never, one thing that I learned, like, in the last year or whatever is to be a content creator and not content consumer. So yeah, I try to every time focus on this and never scroll, basically, because otherwise it can be extremely addictive. I mean, it's a platform built for that, so your eyes are glued.
Yeah, and that's how I rationalize it too. So it's like when I'm consuming for a couple hours and I'm like, okay, now I have to produce, and then I feel okay about it. Or it's like you eat McDonald's and you're like, okay, if I go to the gym, then it's fine. But if you just eat McDonald's and you don't go to the gym, that's when you're like, what the fuck am I doing? You know?
Mehdi, what do you think about masculinity? Lately, in the last maybe years, whatever, there is a lot of controversy about being masculine or not. What are your personal opinions?
I guess I have a complex opinion on this. I think there is definitely a battle against masculinity. I think it's hard to argue against that. Besides just the content, like even on the news or the shows that you see on TV and every other actor is gay and it's all like feminine rainbow flags, ooey gooey. Like the masculine is almost seen as toxic, as a bad thing. That's obvious. But on top of that, like if you look at, this used to be a conspiracy theory, but it's proven. It's like there's actual chemicals in the water that turn you feminine. There's actual estrogen in our tap water.
Really? Oh, this I didn't know. I hope they're not doing that in Italy.
Like turning the frogs gay. Like, you've never heard that? It's like they're turning.
Oh, I heard about the frogs turning gay. Yeah, I heard about that.
Say that. It's because they found a chemical in the water called atrazine, which when frogs were in touch with this water for a certain amount of time, they literally started turning from male to female.
So shocking.
When it's a little crazy, yeah. But when you understand that, it's just like there's little chemicals in our food and water that make you more feminine, and they block your testosterone levels. So if you're not eating healthy, going to the gym, doing things that actually boost your testosterone.
Yeah, going to the gym, super important.
So there's that, and then there's all the media and the programming in Hollywood and stuff like that. That's obvious. So I think when you understand that, you start living your life a different way. You start understanding, like, I have to proactively be masculine in a sense, because if there's a battle against me being masculine, they want me to be more feminine. I mean, we could go into why that is. Why do they do that?
Yeah, this is a very cool question. Why? So why do they do that? Yeah.
If you're more feminine, you're easier to control. If you're more feminine, you're more susceptible to emotional manipulation.
I agree. Yeah.
Like I could just go on the news and put out like a very nasty fear story. I'm like, this thing's really bad. Blah 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 blah. You should go and vote for this. That's it. That's all they need to do. But if you're a masculine, you can just look at that and be like, all right, I get that's the emotion they're offering me, but that doesn't mean that that's true. Don't follow the emotions. So that's what masculinity does. It kind of lets you float above the emotions, whereas the feminine, they're in the emotions. And I think you got to have a bit of both. Like part of having a great game is grounding yourself in that masculine, but also being able to dance with the feminine. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the yin and yang. The yin and yang is that, right? There is some, good in the bad, bad in the good. So in this case, there is some a dude can be hyper masculine and still have a part of femininity, etc. Right? Because if it were, I can just assume if it were 100% masculine, like completely emotionless, let's say, completely emotionless, just like logical, we could also, people could also kill people because they're like, oh, but this makes sense this way, so why are we going to use emotion? Because this thing, it's just logical. It's like A plus B equals C. So if this makes sense, let's just do it. Instead, there must be some sort of, I don't want to really call it empathy in the sense that, oh yeah, no, please, but just this sort of empathy, right? With everybody else.
We call it empathy, and it's really just like your relationship with your emotions. Okay, the masculine can be present over the emotions, to look down at the emotions, be like, cool, but those don't dictate my actions. Make logical decisions. The feminine, it teaches you to embrace your emotions.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about earlier, like guys go up and talk to a girl and they're flooded with anxiety and fear.
Yeah.
Why? Because they don't actually look at those emotions that they have within themselves, that relationship with the feminine that they have within themselves, and then become comfortable with that, know that, heal that, and embrace those emotions. Because when you embrace your emotions, now you can use them.
Yeah.
But I think for you to really have a really great game, you need to have that access to the feminine as well. I think it comes down to like your relationship with your mom or something. It's like, are you comfortable with the feminine, your mother figure, or do you have a battle against it? Do you hate it? Do you not like it? Like the whole red pill space. Like, yes, there's a battle against masculinity, but if you look at people like in the red pill space, I don't want to name any names necessarily, but they're like hyper masculine to the point, and they think it's masculinity, but there's also femininity in there because they're like really angry at women and they're reactive to women. They want to control women. It's like, that's not really necessarily masculine, So I think
I agree with you, because all this hate, then it's emotional eventually. So
it's emotional. You're reacting to women, literally. Yeah.
it would be much more masculine being more indifferent. I was like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're on OnlyFans. Yeah, they're whores. I'm not gonna wife them, but I don't have to be angry at them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when you see them go off like that, it's like they're kind of teaching the wrong thing. Because to have a great game is like you have to be indifferent and you have to be not emotionless, but stoic and indifferent. You want to get the girl emotionally reacting to you, not vice versa.
And everything you're saying also makes a lot of sense, you know, being more masculine, like more logical. For example, in approaching, when you want to go to approach a girl live, right? Just in a park or in a club. If we were like much more masculine, much more logical, then at this point we wouldn't feel all this emotion, you know, like inside, like this negative emotion. Oh, what am I going to say? I am going to fail. She will, whatever, talk bad to me, and maybe some other, you know, this fear, some other dude will come and destroy me, and all this. Instead, like if you were more logical, you would be like, I mean, I can get 1,000 rejections. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a lot. I mean, it's just like I will not. It's impossible to be liked by 1,000, I don't know, in 1,000 girls, just in a pool of 1,000 girls, just 1,000 girls. It's impossible that they will all like you. There is a small percentage where you have to find it. So you have to talk to this one, to that one, to that one, to that one, and boom, bingo, jackpot. You got the right one. So if we were much more masculine, definitely it would be easier for us. Instead, if we are more feminine, so this fucking water, then at this point, no one will approach anyone because we will be like, oh no, I'm too scared, I'm afraid.
Yeah, man, we're already there. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I see so many guys that are really, wow.
And you're right. It's like when you walk up and you're like, what does she think of me? Does she not like me? What do people think around me? Oh my God, what does this mean? What does this mean about me? And it's like, these are all feminine qualities. Okay, as a masculine, what is your job? Your job is to lead. Your job is to be the tribal leader. The tribal leader is just going to walk up and dictate his intentions and lead from that point. Okay? The girl is the one's going to be like reacting emotionally. Oh, does he like me? Does a tribal leader like me? Does he approve of me? Does he have other girls? Should I be jealous of those girls? Like, that's really her job. So yeah, we can talk about this all day, but it's just like, how do guys actually get to that point? And it's a bunch of things, but I think it just starts off with taking action and kind of trying to understand this stuff, but not understand it from a place of theory, of just like memorizing all this information, but like actually go out and practice, get feedback, and learn what it is to be masculine and feminine in practice, rather than just like read a book like The Rational Male or something, or The Way of the Superior Man, or watch this podcast and then just have like ideas in your head that you never actually internalize in action. Because what matters is you embodying these things and not just memorizing information. Like you could have all this information and then I put you up in front of a girl who's attractive and you just default to being feminine, default to being a pussy. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have to internalize these qualities. These qualities are not something, yes, they're natural, but you got to build them. And I think most people in our generation lack them. Therefore, they have to build these things by taking action. You know?
Yeah. Action is always in a way, it's the only answer. I mean, not the only, but it's a part of a big answer.
It's a primary answer.
Yeah, it's a primary answer. Yes, it's like 80% maybe of the thing is like taking action.
It's like the world is like, you can get all the information in the world. I could put you in a room for 100 years just reading books, like you know all this knowledge, and then I throw you into the world and you're just like, you won't know what to do because it's too much information and your brain isn't built to receive all that information at once. Our brain is built to function somehow in the world. So it's like you got to go out in the world and get data sets, get data points. In game they call them reference experiences, but it's really like you're just collecting data. This is the same for business, it's the same for everything. You go out and collect data points and it like involves your brain in a sense, and all the negative data points that hold you back, that make you think wrong, that lead you to fail, make you act reactive or feminine or get rejected, you have to drop those and then collect the positive ones and internalize them. That way it's just natural for you to get success and results, rather than it's just like, well, I read in a book in chapter 6. That's the thing to do. It's like you don't have time to think about that in an interaction, you know?
You maybe remember a very funny story, like many years ago, I don't know, it's already really 10, 15 years ago. My mom had a friend that was for a period here in Italy. And this woman was an English teacher in Argentina. So you remember, we are half Italian, half Argentinians. So this woman in Argentina was an English teacher. She came, or she went actually to the States or UK, don't remember now, but she was like an expert, teaching English. Everybody like, I'm an expert, I speak English, I teach English to my students. The first day that she landed, I think was UK. She landed in UK and people started to talk to her and she was like, what is this? Is this English? What is this language? I mean, on the theory, theoretically she knew everything, but when she was in the field, in the house of English speakers, she couldn't understand any word. It took her something like, I think, a week or something to start to understand what they were talking. It was actually a very interesting story that she knew everything in theory, you know, the words, the things, the grammar, and so on, know how to speak. But then eventually, when you're talking with a native, you're like, what the hell are they saying? It's completely different. So it made me think a lot what you were saying about you can be in a room 100 years reading all these books. And then you go, okay, I know how to approach, I know how to work out, I know how to do business because I've read all the books of the world. You go there, it's completely different. It's completely.
Yeah, that's why there's some people out there like billionaires, millionaires, like success gurus and stuff. They'll say like, I've never read a book in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't read. I don't like reading. And they say that why? Because it really is more important to take action.
Yeah,
it's like it's important to, like, let's see if I have a book around here. No, my books are back there on the shelf. But it's like I grab a book, I read it, and I should really go as I'm reading the book, take action in real life to understand what's in the book, and maybe even dedicate like a month or two to just like really mastering what's in the book.
Yeah.
And then I should go to the next book versus just like, oh, I finished the book in one day. Now I have to read another book. It's like, you didn't really learn anything. Like you just memorized a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So it's like you take action to internalize the data sets that you read in the book. And then let's say you go back and read the book again, you're going to see more information in that book that you didn't see the last time. Because now you have a deeper understanding of the book and you're picking up even more data that you didn't even have the capacity to pick up the first time. And that's the same thing with games. It's the same thing with anything. It's like you go out and you talk to girls and initially you're focused on like, oh, I opened it, I overcame my approach anxiety. But then you get good at it. And then later on, you just focus on deeper things. You focus on subtler things. You focus on the underlying frame between what you're saying and what she's saying rather than the words you're saying or whatever. And that's really when you get really good results is you focus on the subtle shit that most people don't pick up on.
So Mehdi, you know I'm a big proponent of having great fashion, great style. About the image and first impressions, I really believe into the power of the first impressions. What can you say about this? How important is that in business-wise and dating-wise, socially?
First impressions are extremely important. Whether it be like just how you speak, but also how you present yourself, like fashion, for example. People put you in a certain category in that first 5 to 10 seconds that they see you, meet you, hear from you, and you want to be put in a great category off the bat in that first impression, like in the top 1%, high status, high value, call it whatever you want, confidence. And then it's easier to like coast off of that rather than go in looking like a bum, not dressed well, and they're just like, who the fuck is this guy? And then trying to prove yourself. When you dress well, when you have great style, okay, and you're groomed and you're in good shape and your game is good, so the way you open is like confident. Like all these things position you in a category that works in your benefit. You're like, oh, this dude's cool. You're gonna get way better initial reactions from people. They're gonna perceive you in a very good light. And it's just gonna make the rest of the job, the rest of the seduction or the business meeting or the date, whatever, it's gonna make it easier because you just made such a good impression. I would say that's very important to understand, but I wouldn't fully rely on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rely on it as like, my only thing is I have no game. But if I just dress really well and get a haircut, whatever.
I'm a homeless, no money.
I'm gonna trick people into thinking I'm this cool guy. So it's important to understand, but don't make it your entire personality, which is like how you dress. Because I've known people in the past who their entire personality was just around them being like a fashion guy, and that's cool. But if it's a compensation, it's also not good. Anyways, the style tip I would give is like get in good shape. If you're in good shape, everything you wear looks great.
Yeah.
Almost everything you wear, and if you wear like even nicer clothes, it looks even better. It's like get in good shape and wear stuff that's fitted to you, and damn, bro, you're gonna look hot. That's all I gotta say.
I agree, 1,000,000%. So yeah, it's really a great suggestion.
I'll see people who are like overweight, obese, those like fucking scruff beard, like whatever, and they're dressed in like Gucci or something.
It's like $1 million suit. It won't help.
Yeah. It's not a good look. It's like I know you're obese still. Like I can see it, you know. So
you should have the Harry Potter magic invisible, the invisible. What's that? Like a carpet, a curtain. I don't know how you call it in English, but
when you quote Harry Potter.
Yeah. So maybe they had the invisible. No, you could still see the face. The face will be like very big. So yeah, no, there's nothing that you can do now.
The bags.
Sorry, dude. You have to hit the gym.
Yeah, dude, the gym is great. I don't get how I get why people don't hit the gym because it's just it's a hard thing to initiate to yourself to do, but bro, starting the gym, I get so much fun and like
and energy. You feel like great after
the gym.
Yeah.
So the way I do it is like some final advice on the gym. I know it's not the topic, but like if you have trouble going to the gym, like go to the gym do a workout and don't go too overboard because that might make you not want to go back. You can do something simple.
5 hours.
5 hours will make you hate the gym and you'll never want to go back.
No, never again.
45 minutes and get a pump. Start building some strength. Get good form. Don't go too heavy, but get good form. Then later you can go heavy. And when you do have that pump, go in the mirror after and just flex and just feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Feel good. Allow your brain to release dopamine based on how good you feel. I know it sounds douchebaggy, right? But I give you permission. Be a little bit douchebaggy.
Why not?
And get that dopamine kick from feeling good about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's going to motivate you to come back to the gym.
Instead of getting from Netflix.
Oh, damn, I'm going to get that dopamine kick again.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to look good. I'm going to be flexing in the mirror. And then you go back. And on top of that, what I do is right after I work out, my gym has a sauna. So I go into sauna for 15 minutes. That's extremely good for your health. Releases a lot of toxins. Gets me in like a deep kind of meditative state. And right after the sauna, I jump into a cold shower for 5 minutes. And it hurts like hell. But after you turn off the cold shower, you get such a dopamine high off of it that literally addicts you to go to the gym. And that's why I go every day. It's just like, I just look forward to that sauna cold shower.
Yeah, me too. And I agree with that. So we were covering a lot of interesting topics. It's time to go toward the closure of this call. But before to close it, I wanted to ask if you have one more golden nugget, golden suggestion, the secret sauce that maybe you could add for a listener.
Yeah, I would say just don't limit yourself as far as where you get your information. So a lot of guys, they start learning from like the Red Pill podcast, like Fresh and Fit, or Rollo Tomasi's book, and then they become a fucking groupie for this one worldview. They become a Red Pill kind of dork nerd, okay? And all they think about dating is like the Red Pill, hypergamy, and all this stuff. That's really great.
Like a trend.
Right, and they become hyper masculine, and then they have no connection to feminine energy whatsoever, and that is when it starts becoming toxic, so to speak. We want to learn from them, but we also learn from other people who maybe disagree with the Red Pill. We want to learn from maybe a therapist's view on dating, maybe Jordan Peterson's view on dating, maybe like RSD, Real Social Dynamics, Owen Cook's view on dating. You want to learn from all these people and then create your own reality rather than just buy into other people's worldview. This is something
I have a lot of bad things to say about RSD.
What's that?
I have a lot of bad things to say about RSD, by the way, but another time.
If I made a video about RSD, I would have a lot of bad things to say. I would have a lot of bad things to say about anybody if I dissect them long enough. But there's value in everybody. And my recommendation is like, be someone who thinks for himself and learns from like I said, data points. Go out into the world and collect data. You might not like RSD, but like there's shit that they're doing that's way more high level than other people in the red space. The red pill space. Even though they suck at this area, they might be good at this area.
Yeah, red pill probably they went like really in the bottom. The red pill really touched like the bottom in a way.
Yeah. So it's like if I was learning from like Owen, for example, I would just learn like how he markets. Like he's really good at marketing.
Yes. Yes.
If I was learning from like Fresh and Fit, I would just learn at like how they tap into a certain niche that didn't exist before, and they have all these girls on this podcast. Like just learn from different people and don't become a fucking groupie just following the rules of some red pill or blue pill or black pill. Become your own person and become a holistic type person who has nuance in a sense. Read books that disagree with you. Read people who are different than your normal way of viewing the world. And I think that's going to make you a more intelligent guy, a real high value guy, rather than just like someone who's trying to fake it, like some loser who just rents a Lambo and wears a suit or whatever and thinks he's like in the 1% now. Okay, actually become a high value guy, don't try to fake it. And that's what I would say.
I love it. So thank you very much for all your tips, suggestions, all the sauce that you gave us, which I love this terminology that you just taught me, the sauce. And sauce, especially with this emphasis in the word. So thank you very much, Mehdi. Now, before to leave, I wanted to know how someone can contact you if they want to contact you.
The best way to contact me is through Instagram. I have a YouTube as well called Mehdi Magnus, but the best way to contact me, and that will lead you to everything else, is my Instagram. It's Mehdi_Magnus. So it's MEHDI_MAGNUS, Mehdi_Magnus. On there, you're going to find a bunch of tips and tricks, just short videos giving you advice really quickly to level up your social and dating life. On there, you'll be able to get a little more information on our product, Social Flow University, and how you can join that. Social Flow University is kind of like a school on Discord. It's an online community where you get access to a community of other like-minded guys that'll help you level up your social life. That way you have the right network, the right information. And also you get access to my video course, which will give you all the information you need, not only to build your social game, your charisma, your skills of how to actually get results when you go out, but also how to build a funnel online that will maximize your results to another level. And on there also we'll have like infield. I know people don't do infield anymore, but I like putting out like actual infield of me going out and talking to women. If you want to see that, that way you can copy my skills. It's all in there. So if you want access to any of that, more information, then definitely follow me on Instagram, Mehdi_Magnus.
Thank you very much. This was very detailed, so definitely people will find you. And at this point, we say bye, and we will talk another time. So, Mehdi, thank you very much for your time, all your knowledge, and yeah, meet you soon.
Me on. And I think in Italy they say ciao, right?
Yes, ciao. In Italy we say ciao when we arrive and when we leave.
Yeah.
So, Mehdi, ciao ciao. Ci vediamo presto.
Peace.